Hey there, and welcome to We Read It One Night, the podcast where we talk the Omegaverse, Hoodwinked fanfic, and the logistics of minotaur childbirth. Yes, that's right, this week we're talking about everyone's favorite minotaur romance book, Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta. I'm joined by friend of the pod, Katie, to talk about this, dare I say it, surprisingly cozy monster romance. Support the pod with a rating, review, and a stop by our Etsy shop, linked in the description, and enjoy the show. Hi.
Hi. This is my cat, Valium.
Hi.
She might be meowing.
Oh, that is completely normal for the podcast. Let me show you Peter.
Peter.
This is Peter Parker.
Peter Parker.
Hi, baby.
Oh, he's so fluff boy.
He's a very fluff boy. He's like part Maine Coon. But he's in here because I'm doing one last ditch attempt to get him and one of our other cats, Evie, to get along because she's terrified of him because every time he sees her, he jumps on her. And I think he's just trying to play, but he's like twice her size. And yeah, so he's in here while Evie is in the main part of the house building up her confidence again because she hasn't left my brother's room in like 2 months.
Yeah, that's how Valium and Benzo are. Benzo like attacks her and then she goes like way too hard on the retaliation.
Yeah.
But they like get along, but not
That's
really.
Good.
But kind of. I just need to like trim her nails because she even attacks me if I like pet her wrong. I'm like, dude.
I can cut all of their nails except for the kittens. Because she's like, you know, in the third Harry Potter movie where there's that random kid who's like, it's like trying to catch smoke. It's like trying to catch smoke through your bare hands. Just has these two really like metal lines and like is not a named character. That's what she's like. She is like trying to catch smoke through your bare hands. Like he said that about my kid.
And he's also the one that like is like, that's the death mark in the tea or something.
Yeah, he's like, it's the omen of death.
Yes.
Just these two, like, this random kid.
Just like exposition king.
Okay. Welcome to the podcast, Katie. I'm so pleased to have you here.
I'm so excited.
Like a year after you claimed this. So, listener, I'm joined today to talk about Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta with my friend Katie from high school. Katie, I don't know if you want to say anything more about yourself.
There's nothing more to say. You
don't have anything to plug or like
I don't know. I'll plug like going to karaoke in Philadelphia and like
okay. Any recommendations?
I don't have JJ Mallon's on Fridays, L Bar on Thursdays and Mondays, sometimes Photo Club on Thursdays. I don't know. I just love karaoke. It's my passion.
That's
12
amazing.
Steps on Tuesdays. Those are all my plugs because I love karaoke. I am a terrible singer.
What's your go-to song though?
I used to sing Mean by Taylor Swift a lot. That was like a go-to one. And now I just have this like really, really long list of songs that I want to sing at karaoke all the time.
Well, it makes sense if you're going there all the time. You know, you don't want to get like boring.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like about what you feel. It's about the crowd. Like you can kind of do whatever. You can do whatever you want. I love a microphone. So that's why I'm here.
My go-to is All Star by Smash Mouth. And it's a crowd pleaser. It's a crowd pleaser every time. It gets everyone popping.
You want something hype that's a crowd pleaser, but sometimes I'll just be like, I want to sing this like deep cut Taylor Swift song because I'm feeling emo.
I'm gonna sing Illicit Affairs. Stay with me.
I sang after I got dumped. I sang I Bet You Think About Me. And I like changed some of the words to be about my ex. And then I could just like see people like whipping their heads when they're like, what do you mean? Like, what's going on? But
I would be, if I were in that karaoke bar, I'd turn around, I'd be like, is this some tea? Like, am I getting a tea from a stranger right now during karaoke? Like, this is amazing.
I laid it all out on the stage.
As you should.
I did. Yeah.
Listen, there's a reason that High School Musical 1 begins with the karaoke scene.
It's so true.
Yeah. It's one of the most impactful things that you can do emotionally.
It's true. I think about that song a lot, like in the universe of High School Musical, like it just already exists.
Yeah. Who is the artist?
Yeah, like whose
You know what
song
I
is it? It's just
mean?
like a song everyone knows in,
I
ski
guess.
clubs.
Do we think it's like an other Disney artist? Like, do we think it's like in universe, like a Hannah Montana song or
It's
something?
gotta
You know what
be.
I
It's
mean? Or
gotta be
like,
like their High School Musical. And then
yeah.
there's always overlap because like Ashley Tisdale was in Zack and
Oh,
Cody and was like,
the
everyone tells me I
metaverse.
look like Sharpay.
That was the best gag they ever did because everyone was like,
It,
nah, no, you don't.
I know. Oh my God, I love that episode. I also love the High School Musical episode of South Park where they're like, suddenly it's cool to be singing about feelings, and then like they just can't get into it. They're like, this is what's popular. Like, I'm gonna kill myself.
Oh my God. Iconic.
I have not read a romance novel like this before.
Yeah. Wait, but you've read romance.
I've read some. I've done some beach reads, but like a long time
Hmm.
ago. I honestly don't read enough. I need to do more of that. I need to expand my horizons. I'm a nanny, so I do a lot of
Hmm.
out loud reading to 6-year-olds. And
Yeah. So the limits, it's a little.
it's a lot of like Minecraft fan fiction. Like there are just like hundreds and hundreds of books that are just like unauthorized Minecraft stories
Hmm. Hmm.
that they're
That
people
makes
must make
sense.
bank. They also have all of this music. They're like Minecraft parodies of like hit songs.
Yeah.
And it's just
Minecraft is the whole like
insane.
metaverse. Like that's the
It's
metaverse. It's Minecraft.
insane. It's insane how many like tens of thousands, hundreds and thousands of hours of content just on like YouTube. Like it is absolutely all consuming. And it's a
I'm
lot of it's
sure.
for adults too. Like
I'm
it's just
sure.
bananas.
I feel like I've like hovered occasionally. I'll get like thrust onto the Minecraft side of TikTok that like hovers around the edge of like people who like engage in like smutty Minecraft stuff and like adult, you know what I mean? And there's just like all this lore that I like it's like on the edge of my consciousness, but I've never dived into it.
Mm-hmm. I'll see when I see Minecraft on my TikTok, it's like it's replacing Subway Surfers on like Reddit stories read by
Mm-hmm.
AI. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
am I the asshole for wearing white to my sister's wedding? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you are
Yes, you are.
initially, but then it's like, but she asked me and she put me up against all the other bridesmaids. Or it's like weird shit. It's like
Yeah.
my best friend stole my baby name.
Oh yeah.
Or like
Those are good.
slowly poisoning my mother-in-law. Like, and then it's just like people like building Minecraft in the background.
Yeah. I like that. I posted a TikTok video and I was like telling a story and crocheting during it. And someone was like, you crocheting is like Subway Server. And I was like, honestly, that's the greatest compliment that I've ever received.
I do big phone games. I'm a big phone games girl. It's gonna be a lot for me to like sit through this without A, walking through my house, or B, pulling up. Right now I'm playing like hexa tiles where you like match up different hexagon colors together. For
Fair
a while it was
enough.
zombie invasion, but I got bored of that since playing hexatiles. And before
Hmm.
that, it was Merge Island, Allison Merge Island, where you just like merge
Merge
stuff.
Islands.
Yeah, they have a bunch of they have like a Peter Pan one and like a Snow
Oh,
White one, but I
nice.
was in the Alice in Wonderland one.
That's what my sister Rachel has like started. For a while, she had this scheme where she like, wanted to like be able to walk like outside while we did this. And it was just like the audio was just like not working. But
I
now
bet it was trash.
she started crocheting while we do it. She
Mm-hmm.
got really into crocheting and it's really helped her like concentrate.
I'll see. I think I'll be okay. I think I'll
Okay.
be okay. I think I'll like immerse myself into the world of this novel, of
Of
this
Cambric
story,
Creek.
into these characters' lives.
So you've never read a romance like this before, what you
This was
said.
just porn. This is just porn. It
No. Okay. Here's the thing.
was a lot of
I thought
porn.
it was so okay, yes. Obvious like this there's explicit sex. But like there was so like it was so soft. Like they were
It
so
was.
soft and cute together. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, plumber. I don't have any money to pay you. Can you bang me on the kitchen table?" It
Yeah.
was
There was like build up and there was a reason to it. It's like, oh, bull semen makes Viagra. And
yes.
obviously that's like an essential
Iconic.
product
Iconic.
for the American consumer. I just found it interesting. Like I got enough detail of the world to be satisfied, but I always just wanted a little more. I was like, she called herself a
Hmm.
millennial at one point, and I'm like, okay, so like
Millennials
there's this
exist.
same generational divide. And like at one point he's like paint me like one of your French cows.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So
okay, so the
Titanic
Titanic
exists.
happened in this universe as well.
And well, we also have like Greek myths, except apparently like they're real in this universe. Because at one point he's
Yeah.
like, like, did you ever learn in school about how they sent like tributes to the Minotaur, like so he could eat them? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, it wasn't the kind of eating that you think.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then we just needed more because they were
Yeah.
so addicted to like the lifestyle of just getting like railed.
Which good for her. Good for
I
her.
liked that. I
Good
liked that.
for Violet, our main character. So would you say like overall, were you pleasantly surprised?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it met my needs for sure.
Okay. Because so listen to like the backstory to Katie choosing this book was, I've definitely mentioned it on previous episodes, but like our friend group goes to the beach every summer to like our one friend's parents' beach house. And I don't even remember how it came up, but I just know that like it came that I was like fighting for my life, like in the kitchen because like, oh, like defending like monster romance. Um, and you like heard about that. I was like, yeah, there's this one called like Morning Glory Milking Farm, and it's like blah blah blah. And you were like, wait,
I was like, I'm definitely
please,
interested.
please, can I do this?
Yeah. You like texted the group chat and you like gave a bunch of names. You were like Rachel is going to be busy, so we're going to have guest people, so choose a book. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to research like this long list of books. I was like, what's the freakiest shit that I can read about? And you were like, okay, there's the Minotaur one, there's like the
There's the
T-Rex
Minotaur
one or the
one.
Velociraptor one, and then maybe
Yeah,
another. But Minotaur really like sealed the deal. I mean, the
really was
cover is
good.
just so romantic, like because it is. If you
It's like
just
a classic
replaced
romance bodice
Fabio,
ripper. Yeah.
yeah, if you replaced Fabio with like a bull, it was that. And I was like,
It's
that is way up my alley. I just want some
iconic.
freak ass shit.
Iconic. That's like a new cover too. The original cover when I first like saw this book is like the milk bottle where like the semen goes into, and then like
Mm-hmm.
a woman putting on like black like latex gloves. So
Whoa.
it's like
That's
very different
crazy.
vibes.
Like a nip tuck sort of cover
Yeah.
type thing,
Like,
like a 2005 like
yeah.
horny
Yeah.
show.
Well,
That's
this was
so funny.
self-published, so it was definitely like,
That
go
makes
for it. So
sense too.
self-published authors like have the freedom to go for it that like capitalism in traditional publishing won't let them do.
Right. And I wonder how AI book covers are sort of on the rise.
Well, they already have. That's like a big
They already have been.
conversation because it's like, I don't know. I personally feel like you can always like tell. Like, I don't know. I've never encountered like an AI where I'm not like, okay, computer made that. Like a person did not make this
I
yet.
it happened to me. I just saw in theaters, I just saw Late Night with the Devil, which is like sort of a like semi-found footage
Yeah.
horror movie, and they have the "we'll be right back" things, and that was AI generated, and it just looked like it was
Oh,
a very simple image, and people are like boycotting the movie because of like this one like frame, and at one point it like melts or something, but I was like, that is really not. I was surprised that it was AI because it was so simple. I wouldn't have even thought that someone
right.
would have made AI with that. And I feel like even when I was growing up, walking past the CVS book aisle, like there was already something AI about them
Mm,
in that way. They just had that uncanny valley
yeah.
aesthetic to them that I think
There is
fits
definitely
right in.
like an element of that, especially I feel like in sci-fi and fantasy. And there are a lot of people that like really like those book covers. Like, and I just like always felt very off-put by them. But like those were by people. Like it's just that style
Yeah.
of cover that's weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, that is a big thing with AI, not just for the covers, but like there are people, quote unquote, like AI authors, which like that's not possible. Like if you didn't write it, you're not an author.
You're not an
If
author.
a computer
You're
wrote
a
it, like you
program.
didn't write it. But like where people are like are just like publishing them like en masse. But apparently like Amazon is like cracking down on that. Like you do have to
That's
like
crazy.
prove that it's not AI.
But overall, I enjoyed the book. I thought it was a fun
Mm-hmm.
read. I did it audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
One point, if you're gonna
Me too.
audiobook this, I would recommend 1.25 speed because then it sounds like a normal person talking instead
Oh,
of someone really slow. I didn't love the narrator, but I liked some of her
she's yeah.
voices. I really
Yeah.
liked her voice for the friend whose name is escaping me, the vampire friend.
Gayless. I
Gayless.
love Gayless, the
I
Cockney
love
vampire.
Gayless. I love Gayless. Like stuck in the 80s vampire that likes to sniff tea and is just like
An
snooping
icon.
for gossip. I was obsessed with her. I thought they were going to go more into the vampire stuff. Overall, I thought there was going to be more conflict
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah,
the
there isn't
story.
really any.
It was pretty smooth sailing.
Yeah. So like okay, so the premise of the story, the like overview is that it's like a woman named Violet who is very personally relatable in which she is overeducated and unemployed and doesn't like living in the big city and just like sad. And she goes to work at a quote unquote milking farm, hence the title, where they like give minotaurs hand jobs to collect their semen for Viagra, which is I just need like CM Nascosta to like sit down with me and like tell me how she came up with this idea.
I think it's brilliant. I think also
I think it's
bull
incredible.
semen is already like something harvested. I think it's already
Yeah,
has uses. It's
maybe.
definitely in stuff. Let me see if I can look it
Yeah,
up because
or
it's
something.
definitely like if you just like read sort of an article or found a Reddit page and
Yeah,
inspiration struck
it's true.
because at least already there they have, people at farms that jack off for reproducing
Yeah,
and breeding animals.
yeah.
But I thought it's not like it's a bizarre premise, but it's not that crazy is the thing.
No,
It's
yeah,
just that now there's like a sex work element. I love that they call them technicians. I think
yeah.
I think that should be adopted
For
into
sex work.
the glossary of sex workers. I think it's such a professional word.
Yeah. But
I
she's so
thought it
that
was
was
great.
one of the things I was a little icky about was the amount of times that like she specified that she's like it's not sex work. Like actually it's not sex work. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that was like like I was beat over the head with Violet being like it's not sex work. And I was like so what if it is? Like it could be set just let it be sex work, like fine it's not sex work, like I see your like reasoning, but like I don't care either way, and neither does Roarke, who's her minotaur lover.
Neither does Rourke, and it is sex work. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
there is some denial, like when you are in professions, like
Yeah.
I've had friends that are like sugar babies that are like, it's not sex work. And it's like, but you're having sex for money. So it kind of
Mm-hmm.
is. Like if that is like not a label you're comfortable with, I think that is one thing.
Yeah.
But as we understand it, like I think it does fall into the definition of sex work. And you can be a
Yeah.
sugar baby without engaging in sexual activities. But
Yeah.
if you are, like if you get handed an envelope of cash after consummation, like that's sex work.
After consummation.
Like that's just what it is. Oh, some people think that
Yeah.
bull semen is in like Red Bull.
Oh no, is it though?
I can't. Let's see.
Is there
Let's see
any
what Snopes
proof?
has to say. It's
Is there
false.
rats? Wait, okay. Did you know there's this guy that like sued Mountain Dew? It was like a while ago because he found like a mouse in his Mountain Dew can and he like
Oh my
sued
gosh.
Pepsi, but he lost because Pepsi, the company, was able to prove that a mouse would dissolve in Mountain Dew before it made it to the consumer.
Whoa.
Like if a mouse got into the can in the factory, it would have dissolved. So
It
like
would have been gone.
how many mice have we consumed? Because that can't just be a Mountain Dew thing. Like that's definitely like
It
a
can.
soda
Well, I
thing.
saw something today. I don't remember the brand of drink, but I saw something today about a woman cutting open some like energy drink can, and there was a mouse inside. And I couldn't
No.
watch it. I didn't have the stomach for it in the morning, but she like looked inside the top of the can and you could see little like kind of goo. And then she cut open the bottom and a tail just like flopped out and unfurled. And I was like, nope, not
I would
today.
simply expire on the spot.
I know.
Like,
I was like, I
no,
can't even think about this right now.
no.
But I could imagine it happens.
Yeah. But thankfully, at the milking farm, they're very sterile. Like
They're
she's
very
like they're
sterile.
wearing gloves, they're like doing all this cleaning. Like it is definitely very professional.
Yeah, it seems that. And it's also like the workplace banter of it all. It's like Marjorie, which is
Yeah.
the cow, which is such a funny name because it's like, oh, you're like, you're not butter, you're a cow, you're
Oh my
Marjorie.
God. Oh my God. Wait, I didn't even think of that, that it's like Marjorie.
Yeah. Because then, like, now where does the rest of the food? Like, I just get so fascinated by
Right.
these elements of it because at the beginning, she also talks about, like, oh, I'm about to work for a pharmaceutical company that only cares about half the population, like, in like medical feminism in this world. But, like,
Yeah.
what's the dominant species? How do they test
Well,
medicine?
humans, it seems. We do get multiple times that they're like humans are like the dominant, humans are like the majority or
Right. And then
whatever.
she's just in this like she's just like gentrifying this city because like human food is in like
Yes.
the ethnic food section. So I couldn't quite get a grip. It seems very regional based.
Yeah. Wait, but so let's talk about like that gentrify element because like I feel like there was like a really heavy-handed in some ways like race metaphor
Yeah.
that I don't think landed for me like it was intended. Like having essentially like the correlation is like the humans are like white people and then like the mythological creatures, some of which are like part animal, are like BIPOC people, like
Right.
I was like, I get what you're trying to say, but like that's very icky to
None of that
me.
landed for me. It landed so far away that I don't even think it was like considered as like a metaphor.
I think it
I just
was, and I think it just
did it
didn't.
really?
I
Then it
really
just
think that it
really
was,
missed the mark.
yeah.
I could have used a little more Zootopia like context. Like,
Uh-huh.
what's the status here? Are they, you know?
Yeah, because the town that they're in is like a little like multi species like oasis or whatever. Like so it's like
Yeah.
instead of the book addressing the like structural issues of the society, it's like why don't we just like move everyone away and then everyone can just live separately and then that'll be happy.
I felt like that. I felt like every time there was conflict, that is what happened. Like, even within the story, like, they would just do like a time skip or they would just, like, but it doesn't
Mm.
matter. Like, they didn't show the mom reacting really
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to the reveal of the boyfriend being a bull. Like it's just she
Yeah.
said it and then it was like conversation
I
over.
guess because
Or,
it's a novella, I think, technically. So,
yeah,
like, there's not, like, I think this really could have been a full length book and
I
it
would
would
have
have,
liked it too.
yeah. And in terms of like the world building in general, like, this is like the first in a series. Like, there are like books after this in the same world. So, like, I guess that's like kind of saving some of the world building for that. But
Yeah, at the end they're like, you could find these characters in other stories. And I
in
I saw that there is this same story from his perspective.
yeah, I think that was like a bonus that she released. Maybe I'll have to read that.
I know. I feel like I wish that I knew that existed. I probably would have read both. I bet there would have been a lot of questions answered on those fronts
Mm-hmm.
of what it's like to be a
To be
minotaur,
milked. To be milked.
to be milked. I loved the different sort of different types of clients.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So they have the types of minotaurs that like come in. They're like the earners, and they basically like this is like their job to get like hand job, which honestly like goals.
Yeah.
Like goals. Um, and they like know exactly how much cum they have in their balls, which like seems like a really interesting skill to have developed.
That's crazy. I don't even track my period. I don't even know when
No.
that's coming.
Like minotaurs apparently they have enough cum that it fills up. They use like old-fashioned milk bottles to collect it, and it's 24
24
ounces.
ounces. 24
That's
ounces. Insane.
so much.
I think that if that entered me, I would pass away. I would
Well,
die.
I mean, Violet, when she eventually gets like, the cum load deposit, is just like it's leaking out. And that Violet's
Yeah.
like thinking about it before she's like, yeah, if you like got that squirted to a human, like it would just come out. Like that's so hot. Like she's
Yeah.
constantly like, I'm getting these tingles between my leg. But in the
I
beginning,
know.
she thinks it's just like nerves or she's like foreboding. And I was like, when have you ever confused
I
like
know.
arousal for foreboding?
Yeah, I would have loved to know what her like previous relationship was like. I would have loved some, dichotomy of like what's it like to date like a shitty human with a tiny
Which is
dick.
it doesn't compare. And she realized she's like, yeah, once you get that
You
monster
can't.
dick, like you
She's like, I'll
can't.
never go back.
I'm
I'll
like,
never go
fair
back.
enough.
I could
Fair
never date another
enough.
human.
And Rourke's dick is like prime minotaur dick too, like for her, because she's like, it's not long, it's thick.
It's not too big. It's thick and it's a chode. As soon as she said that, as soon as she said it wasn't the longest, I knew it was going to be him. As soon as she said that, I knew exactly who we were dealing with. And he's an earner, initially,
Yeah.
it seems.
No, he's a clock
There's some,
watcher.
oh, he's a
So there's
clock
the earners,
watcher
and then the clock watchers are like businessmen who like come in on their lunch breaks and they're just like in and out.
on their lunch break.
And
Yeah.
then there's like the casual clients, the pop and goers who are just like,
Mm-hmm.
occasionally want some like when you donate plasma like every once in a while, like that kind of thing. And then there's the good little cows, which is sex work.
The
The good
good
little
little
because the
cows.
good little
I
cows
love
have
that.
like a I want to be milked kink. Like,
And they request to wear scrubs that have a milkmaid pattern on
yeah.
them so
Yeah.
that they can live full fantasy of this. And then that is like that like race play in this world. Like what is going on? It also seemed that she was out of her element. She's a human doing it. She says,
Yeah.
my tiny human hands can't handle the job.
Which Rourke he's like, I love your tiny
I love your tiny hands, your delicate tiny
your
hands.
tiny little human hands. Yeah, because she's the only human working there until the very end when she has to like train like another human girl who what's
Until
what's the
barely
nickname
there,
that Roar
Becky.
gives
What do they
her?
call
It's
her?
like stiff neck Sally or like something
It's
like
stiff hand Sally.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Which I thought there was going to be like conflict with that because okay, so like Rourke and Violet are falling in love. Like he comes in the first time and she just immediately is like, I know what this man Bull
It's you.
likes. He likes having his foreskin played with and his balls. And he's like, holy shit, her tiny little hands really know what to do. So like he just requests her like every time. And so like that's how they're building their relationship. But she's constantly worried that
Yeah.
like they're gonna
Yeah.
find out because it is like, you're not supposed to. And so I thought there was gonna be like an element where like the new human girl like walks in on them. Cause like towards the end, they were getting pretty bold with like making out in the workplace.
I thought something was gonna happen. I thought they were gonna say something because they do their chatting, and I feel like they're already kind of dating
Yeah.
by this point. They'd already met each other. I thought he was gonna say her name or something was gonna get tipped off. There was not even like conflict in her job element. It was totally
Yeah.
secure. I guess she eventually ends up getting a job in her field,
Yeah, her journey is like this is just supposed to
but
be like a
she
stopover.
maintains the position. She still takes shifts because she enjoys it and she likes having,
Hmm.
income.
Which get it, girl.
Which who I know.
Why not?
I want that kind of come up.
It seems like a pretty low stress job, you
Yeah.
know?
And she likes it for the most part. I mean, she was falling in love with this guy.
Yeah.
And then obviously him dropping, he tells her at some point to go to this cafe.
Hmm.
So she goes and they obviously run into each other there. And that conflict of
Yeah.
her thinking that he had a girlfriend with the barista also so short-lived.
Yeah. Well, but then
That
she
was
also
probably the
thinks
most
he's
conflict in the entire.
married too, because
Oh
he has a
yeah, I
nose
loved
ring.
that. I
And she
loved that.
learns that nose rings, like a bull ring. I mean, that's what it is,
A bull
like a
ring,
septum
a septum
piercing.
piercing.
That is like a wedding ring for bulls.
I liked that. It's like historically implied ownership in like the slave trade of bulls,
Oh my
but
God.
now it's
It's like been
signifies
reclaimed.
ownership in marriage, like a commitment,
Yeah,
a lifelong commitment. I thought that was
that was cute.
hilarious.
That was
And
cute.
it's
Yeah.
something I didn't even think of. I think she really embraced the aesthetics and the folklore of
Mm-hmm.
the animal
Mm-hmm. And like
in a way
sprinkled
that
it
I found
in.
very enjoyable.
Yeah. Like I feel like it wasn't like heavy-handed. Yeah.
Oh, and then she's a Capricorn.
Yeah.
So
Oh
she's
yeah.
she thinks it's fated in the stars and how to please your Capricorn lover. And she says, "Oh, I don't know if humans are the only ones that indulge in this kind of stuff of horoscopes and astrology, but I just can't help it." That
She
was
knows
so
his
cute.
birthday, but she doesn't know his name like
Yeah.
until
Yeah,
they
because
meet
of the
in
chart.
person.
I thought that
Yeah.
was cute. I thought that also was relatable in when you have a crush and you just
Yo, yeah.
latch on to whatever you fucking can.
Yeah.
And the bias confirmation, oh, I'm a Capricorn and he's a bull, so it's meant to be. I thought that was really cute.
That was really cute. And she kept using it as relationship advice. She was like that website said like Capricorn or like whatever bulls get possessive and jealous.
Yeah. So it's good to challenge them, but make sure they're secure.
Yeah. So she's like constantly like,
Uh,
so I put into practice the first part of advice and I did the second.
and it worked. It seemed to work.
Yeah,
They had a good dynamic.
they did. I mean, talking to her got him hard. That's why she was so good at her job. Cause like he was
I
always
ain't that the
hard
dream.
before she even sat down. And she's like, this is so weird. And it's because she's like, oh my God, it's because we
Yeah.
have like little
It's
chats.
because small pleasantries got him rock solid.
And she like the whole time, every time the lines, the internal like images that Violet would like conjure when she's like before they like start seeing each other in person, where like she She's like, between the two of them, they might flood the room. if because they're so horny. And then she's imagining, she's like, he's so big. Like, he would barely fit in my shower. Like, he'd fill up the whole thing. There'd only be enough room for me if I was, quote, impaled on his cock. And I was like, incredible. No notes. I love this.
At one point, also, she says, she's like, I just want to go animalistic on him. And I thought, is that problematic? Is that a problematic thing to say in a city, in a diverse city of different animals?
I don't know, because I
Basically.
guess, I mean, they're not. Here's the thing. So he's part animal, but like the other one, so basically, like this fantasy world is like, I it's like D&D. Like it's that kind of
Yeah.
fantasy. So like nobody else is really, well, there is a Mothman. I don't know if you listened to the very end of the
Yes.
audiobook. There was like a little teaser for the Mothman book, which I did download, by the
I got
way.
very confused, but because I remember them talking about her friend had a Mothman boyfriend or something.
Yeah.
I was very
Yeah.
interested in the Mothman.
I did download the Mothman
I'll probably listen to that.
audiobook from our library. um
Yeah.
but yeah, there aren't very like most of them are like elves or like orcs or tieflings, whatever the fuck that is. Like,
I've heard of Tiefling through D&D. I don't even know
yeah, but I don't
exactly what it
actually
is. I
know
think
what
it's
it is.
elf-like. It's
Yeah.
elf-like.
And then like vampires, which is what Galis, her Cockney, straight talking Cockney BFF.
Obsessed. Obsessed with her.
I love her.
Also thought at one point, Galis gives her a wax, like gives
Mm.
her a Brazilian wax. And I thought
Hmm.
that was a very dangerous thing to do because you could get a little blood, like you can bleed. What happens? How much
Well, how
self-control
does
does
Galis?
this,
Yeah.
how much I just want to know all about Galis. I
Like,
bet she's a slut.
are we talking about like the level of self-control of like Jasper from the Twilight Saga, or like are
Because
we
then
like what are we talking
she's
about?
toast.
Is there
Yeah.
immediate
Or are we talking
bloodlust?
Carlisle? Like, can you be
Yeah.
around buckets of blood all day and be totally
Yeah.
chill? Separate it, be professional. I guess so. She seems pretty casual.
Well, it's wait. Galus actually she does have super self-control because Galus also does a kind of like vampire sex work job where she like
Yeah.
humans will like donate their blood to the or like sell their blood to the vampire restaurant so that the vampire restaurant can make fancy vampire dinner from like fresh blood, and like Galus like gets the blood.
Yeah. So she has control because she doesn't want to smoke all of her own product.
She's no Confederate vampire, that's for sure.
No, certainly not. I feel like the worst crime she could have committed would be jazzercise because it's she's an
From the
80s
80s.
vampire.
But she
I was
always
obsessed with
acts like
that.
she's like, don't worry, Violet. Like, I have so many years of experience. And Violet's constantly like, she keeps acting like she's from like the Victorian era, but like she's from the 80s.
Yeah, seriously. Like
She's
she knew the
barely older
Stranger
than
Things
me.
kids. Yeah. It's like we've all
Yeah.
seen it and Stranger Things. We can get it.
Okay, Gen X.
I know. Oh, this millennial vampire. Do you identify as millennial or Gen Z? Because we're both kind of cuspers.
Yeah. I'm 96, so I technically am. I've never like millennial always the earliest I've seen it end is like 96. So like I think I'm technically a millennial, but I
Yeah.
certainly have like some Gen Z experiences.
Yeah. I fully identify as Gen Z because
Yeah.
I'm delusional, but also I just
I'm
feel
cool.
that's where I'm at. They say if you have younger siblings, I am the oldest of three girls. They say that if you're the oldest, like birth order matters because then you're influenced by the culture younger than you.
Interesting.
Like Disney Channel was on for like
Mm-hmm.
6 more years in my household,
Mm-hmm.
and I, didn't have older siblings that taught me, you know, their cultures.
Yeah.
So that's where
I
I get
definitely
my
had a more
delusion
millennial
from.
upbringing, I think also because we didn't have cable for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And because we had dial-up internet for a while. So like I was using like AOL like you know what I mean? So I had like more of like a young millennial experience than like a Gen
Yeah.
Z. And like I had a phone starting in like the fifth grade, but it was like a flip phone. You know, like I did it like it was just to like call my mom to pick me up from like guitar
Hmm.
lessons.
Yeah. I didn't get a phone till high school, till I finished eighth grade.
Wow.
But my
Yeah.
first phone was an iPhone, but I begged my parents. I was like, please, 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 please. And then my sister got one in the fifth grade. She just like knew how to work my Emily knew how to work my mom's Google Calendar.
Ah,
So she just put on the calendar, get Emily phone.
that's
And my dad
incredible.
got one for her because he was like, it was in the calendar. I just bought a
Oh
calendar.
my God. That's iconic. Honestly,
I
tell like Emily, that is the most iconic shit I've ever
she
heard. That's
her and Betsy
incredible.
always pull that kind of stuff. I was never creative like that.
That's
And I had
incredible.
like all the parental controls. I had to like go out of my way to be like, Mom, can you unblock fan fiction from my computer?
Oh my
Please.
God. Oh, see, my mom never, like, my parents never clued in enough to, like, know all the shit that I was doing on the internet, which was mostly just reading smutty fan fiction. Like, I really wasn't, like, delving
Yeah.
into, like, the dangerous, weird parts of the internet. I was just in, like,
No.
the regular weird parts of the internet.
The regular weird young kid stuff. Like,
Yeah. And then,
yeah.
like, I would dabble in Omegle, like, at sleepovers because, like, my friends would always
Yeah.
want to do it, but I would never do it
Yeah.
myself.
No, too
Too many
scary.
dicks. Too many dicks. I saw too many dicks at a young age.
We tried going on Omegle a year ago, a group of friends and I, and there was like only like 7 people on in the whole world. We kept being like
No.
new person, and then we would go all the way back to
Oh
the start. We would see the same people.
no. The
I
golden
think
age
they
of
shut it
Omegle is
down. I think they
gone.
shut it down. Yeah.
Okay. I thought they was having like a resurgence or something. I felt like I saw like the youths talking about it on the internet, but I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
Gosh, so dangerous. It brings me back to the book. I'm just more also interested. I was hoping there would be some sinister aspect to the pharmaceutical company and the work that
Mm.
was being done. I
Mm.
thought there was going to be something sinister in this harvesting other purpose.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I
I
was
guess it's
I
just
was glad there wasn't just because like I was glad that as much as Violet, and I mean this was like a authorial choice too. This is like a writer's choice. As much as like we were beat over the head with the fact that like no, this is definitely not sex work. Like I felt like it would have been. I think that it was like nice to see just like no, she like has a job that's a
she
sex
has a
work
perfectly
job
reasonable
that
job.
she like enjoys and like has good benefits. She gets dental and like her boyfriend is like not misogynistic and controlling about it. He's like, "No, like girl, you get your bag. Like I donate
Yeah.
like why would I like tell you not to do it? But like this is literally my side hustles to
Yeah.
get
His
hand
worst his
jobs."
worst quality was like, I won't share my dessert with you. Was like
Which
it. That was like
understandable.
it's I
Understandable.
absolutely food possession is so accurate and relatable. And it just made me want to get like a fucking tiramisu so bad.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
probably get a sweet treat after this.
So finally, let's talk about they finally are getting together. This is like months of slow burn, like
Yeah.
flirting with each other. He gets his nose ring taken out because he's divorced. Like
Hmm.
she goes on vacation for a week and like comes back and the quote,
For
the
two
sight of his
weeks.
yeah, because her aunt died, which was sad.
Yeah.
But also just like very skipped over, like was
I
but
know.
she comes back and she sees him again and she's like, quote, the sight of his cock was like greeting an old friend.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's, all a girl can ask for. A familiar feeling. It's husband dick, is what it is. It's not too big. It's familiar. It's
Yes.
warm. It's uncircumcised. That is number
Yes.
one at my.
It's thick. It really feels right. It has so there's like described as like a bulge like halfway down. And I thought we were gonna get in like a nodding Discord. Do you know what nodding is? Do you know what the
No,
Omegaverse is? Have you heard of the Omegaverse?
no.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna give you a real like service level quick Omegaverse. So Omegaverse
Lay it
is
on
it's
me.
started in fan fiction, but like there's definitely original fiction with it as well. It's basically like wolves, like like the sort of like werewolf shifter or just like shifter stuff where there's like alphas and betas and like whatever. And there's like breeding kinks. But part of the Omegaverse is that like when they fuck, they have, which I think this happens to like cats too. Anyway, like in real life, but like they get like a knot, like basically like a little like bulge in the middle of their dick, like
Whoa, like
inflates
an
so
Adam's
that
apple.
yeah, so that they get like stuck in. So it's like more, so it's like a
Oh,
breeding, like kind of
mm-hmm.
kinky thing. And so when
Yeah,
that was brought up here, I thought there was gonna be like some knotting. And I was like, oh, I didn't know knotting applied to like minotaurs too, but like I'm game. But like it wasn't
yeah,
really like mentioned other than like the first time that like it was like a little bit like painful for him
yeah.
to like push that part in.
Right. Wow. Right, because when she was like, "Oh my gosh, there's more, and I can't even like I can barely handle this. This was already the biggest I've ever had, and that's only a half at most of his dick."
But then he's like, keep going, baby. And she takes it because listen,
She
his
takes it
balls
like a
hit her
champ.
clit. It's incredible. And
Yeah.
it really reminded me of this book that I read specifically for the scene I'm about to describe. It's like a poly romance book where it's like two men and a woman. And at one point they're all fucking and like they both put their penis like into her vagina. And I was like, that's what I'm imagining is like Rourke's dick is like
Yeah.
the size of like these two guys' penises in
Two
my
hot dogs,
vagina.
one bun.
Which honestly, I was like, this is hot. I'm for this.
Yeah, that was fine. I liked when she talked about his balls being the size of oranges,
Oh, I
for
totally
sure.
missed that. That totally went over my head. The
Yeah.
size of
She
Jesus
said they were
Christ.
large oranges. So I was like,
Oh my
an
God.
orange
So
can get pretty
like
big.
blood oranges is what we're
Yeah.
thinking, or like a navel
Nearly
orange.
a grapefruit. Nearly
Nay, a
two
grapefruit.
grapefruits. Because that's like a large orange. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
She must have bruises all over her.
But no, I mean her clit, like I can see why that would be very stimulating to the clit. And like
Absolutely.
before like their first official date, like they're on a date and he's like fingering her in the restaurant. And I was like,
Crazy.
not in public, not over my salad. Like, come on.
I know. It reminded me of in Breaking Bad when Walt
Uh,
fingers Skylar at one of the faculty meetings.
I didn't know that happened. Let me just note that for later.
It's like the second episode. I was like, I'm just gonna do all this crazy shit because I'm losing my mind in my life.
Oh my
So he
God.
fingers her
Incredible.
in a staff meeting at a
Oh
school.
my God.
Yeah. So it was very much that. Uh and that's just like regular kink stuff.
But I personally don't like the fucking in public, especially the fucking where like service workers may have
Yeah.
to encounter you.
It's
Like
a
that's
sex crime.
I'm like they don't get paid enough for you to
No. You would
for
end
you
up
to be exposed.
on an offenders list for sure.
Yes. And what's also I feel like would end up on an offenders list is this line that Violet thinks, where she's like, her clit felt like a live wire, and she was desperate for him to plug her in and make her spark. And I was like, chef's kiss. No
That's so funny.
notes.
My clit is like an unprofessional electrical job that will burn down my whole house.
I mean, listen, that's what an orgasm from him sounds like it is, honestly.
Yeah. It sounds like that. I would honestly also be like, you know what? Put it up my butt. I could use an enema right about
Well,
now.
she does butt stuff to him, which I
She
love. I
does.
feel
I
like
love
authors
that
are always too
too.
cowardly to do butt stuff, but at the end, she's
Yeah.
like, "No, like I do two fingers up the butt,
Yeah.
like while we're
Yeah.
fucking." And I was like,
I know. I
"Excellent."
liked that a lot. I honestly forgot about that. But you would be able to have an enema anytime you wanted.
It's true. I mean, the cum is like,
Yeah. Oh my
squirt.
God. It gets so
Nah.
stuck inside you.
He has to put towels down. Like,
He
I
has
love it.
waterproof bed sheets. He has towels, and
Good.
she takes the stuff from work that dissolves the protein in the cum when it goes down the
So does it
drain.
clog the drain?
I thought that was such a thoughtful touch.
That was incredible.
I
I loved
I
it.
I love that also she got upset with him that he had way more morning glory swag.
She's like, why do you get a t-shirt?
I have a t-shirt. I work there. I just have a water bottle and you have a t-shirt and a sticker. And
yeah.
Oh, I thought that was so funny.
Wait, what does the shirt say? It's like Big Milker or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I'm the biggest milker in town, like something corny like that. Because also, do you remember? Did you get your wisdom teeth out at
I did. Wait, did you get the shirt?
The shirt. So there's this shirt. They hand you a shirt after you get your wisdom teeth out. I was high out of my gourd. It says got Wizzies, not.
Yeah. Oh,
it's like in the got milk font, but it says got Wizzies, not.
Yeah,
really one of my favorite shirts. It's like
that.
3 jokes in one, and none of them land. It's
so
good. That's like the funniest shirt.
It's a good shirt. It's really soft. I use it as a pajama shirt.
It's a great pajama shirt. It's a great hair shirt. It was also a frequent gym shirt that kids in our school would have when you need to change for gym.
Yeah.
Because everyone gets their wisdom teeth out at the same place.
Yeah. That was great.
I imagine also it would be funny if like, okay, so this dentistry in our town is like the most like surreal fucked up place in the world because it's like this giant warehouse, but like the waiting room is like a lawn, and then each of the rooms, where do you go? Each of the
I think rooms.
The dentistry areas are different rooms in the house. So there's like a living room and a kitchen. And I thought that there would be some element of like, this facility looks like a farm, in that each room would be a stall in a
oh my god,
barnyard. I thought it was gonna have a more aesthetic based on its original. I thought that it was gonna be not modern. I thought it was gonna be ancient time. I thought they were gonna be in an actual farm.
No, they do have breeding benches,
surreal
though.
Element.
They have breeding bench, which is like a thing when they like collect sperm from like livestock.
Right.
Yeah. The number of time, I just want to say, like, I was listening to the audiobook, and like halfway through, my grandma like turns to me and she's like, why do you keep smiling? Like, what are you listening to? You know, all innocently. And I was like, because I could not stop smirking.
I know. I want to see. I wonder if there was another thing that I wrote down. Oh, here's something that made me like laugh out loud. When she says, isn't it every girl's fantasy to be fucked by the big bad wolf?
Yes. The answer
I was like,
is
that true? Probably.
I guess. If people were honest with themselves, Katie, I think if people were honest with themselves, they would say yes.
I think that's why it made me laugh, because I found an element of truth within myself that had not ever been uncovered. Because the wolf in every iteration of Red Riding Hood is like a sexual creature.
Yes. Well, except
a seductive. If you say Into the Woods, I'll disagree.
No, I was gonna say in the animated masterpiece Hoodwinked.
Yeah, he's just
which
like,
I personally would fuck that wolf, but I don't think he's intended to be a sex symbol.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I know he has unspoken for Riz. I feel like that iteration of the wolf is the most my type of all of the wolves.
Absolutely.
Where he's just, this nonchalant guy, commits crimes, wrong place, wrong time.
He's an investigative reporter. Like, he's in it to win it.
Yeah. And is he voiced by like, let me look it up.
I feel like it's Kronk. I think he's voiced by Kronk.
I think you're right. I think it is.
Yeah.
His name is like Peter something.
Yeah. Kronk, the Kronk actor.
Peter Warburton. Wolf W. Wolf is the character's name.
Incredible.
And Glenn Close is Granny Puckett, apparently.
Oh,
Didn't know
wow.
that.
Didn't know that. I know Anne Hathaway is Little Red.
Anne Hathaway is Red.
That's an all-star cast. Like there are I feel like that whole cast is just like
Yeah.
filled with
Yeah, and Andy Dick as Boingo, like the rabbit, that's the bad guy in the end. He's like, well, I don't know. It's like,
it's an
where are you
incredible
going with all
movie.
those goodies, Red? So funny. Ooh, Tara Strong is also in it.
Where is the Hoodwinked like fan fiction that's like this, but for
Oh
Hoodwinked?
my gosh, that'd be so funny. I bet there is a lot.
I feel like, you know what I feel like? I feel like Red and the Wolf are probably shipped together.
They have to be. They just have to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. If I want to keep researching this, I'm gonna have to go incognito. Like this is gross.
Listener, if you've already done this research,
There must be a vor element too. A vor
what is
is
that?
vor the one where well, I guess that's when you get tiny. A vor is when you get tiny and you get eaten. I believe that
Oh,
is being like swallowed whole.
I did not know the name for that.
And is very large and the other is very tiny. But there's definitely lots of eating fetishes out there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Listener, if you know
So
of
that's
any,
where it all
if you've
begins.
already done this deep
Listener,
dive,
please,
please send links to your favorite
please.
hoodwinked fan fiction, please.
Yeah. Oh
Thank you.
gosh. It's gonna be revolting. I'm gonna read every second of it.
Okay, so two questions that came up for me while reading this. Particularly once they finally started dicking down and he like came inside her and she's like his dick reaches my spine, which is incredible imagery for me. And he comes inside her, it's leaking all over the place. He's like, shit, I should have put down towels. My question is, okay, so one, do minotaur condoms exist? Because he's going in like bare
Mm-mm.
with her. Do minotaur
Yeah.
condoms exist? And which also like my side thing was like, well, despite what like little man babies claim, like I feel like as big as Rourke's dick is, like I think a regular condom would still like fit it, you know, because you can like fit that shit over your
Yeah.
arm.
You can, but it becomes a point like you can fit it places, but it doesn't become functional
Yeah,
because it can
yeah.
still
That's true.
tear.
Okay.
Because they fill up about as big as a balloon.
Yeah. And well, okay, so like, and if they do exist, like do they have to have special condoms? Because I feel like they're
They
cum
must.
because it's being put in like Viagra, like there's definitely some sort of like mythical quality to their cum. So like is it gonna go through regular latex? You know, like do they have
Mm,
to have special Minotaur
right.
condoms?
Or is like how big is like the reservoir tip at the top?
Yeah. Well,
Because
24
if it holds
ounces, I
24
hope.
ounces, like you just have like a full other condom at the
Just
end of
a
this condom to
baby. You gotta
collect.
give birth.
She's gonna get cervical cancer. Like that's the sequel to this book.
Well, that's wait. Speaking of cervical, is Rourke has a neighbor who's like an elf, and she has a big orc boyfriend. And at
An
one
elf
point,
who's orc boyfriend. This is my
yes,
favorite part.
and at one point, like first of all, her name is L'Oreal, like L'Oreal Paris, the like fucking shampoo brand. But
Mm-hmm.
like she's like at one point Violet is like, how do you not tear? Which honestly like bold of Violet considering that she has a Minotaur
It's a great
boyfriend, but like
question.
whatever. She's like, how do you not tear, L'Oreal? And L'Oreal is like, well, like elves are super stretchy.
Elves are
Like we're
stretchy.
but she's
Elves
like
are
anyone else would have like
stretchy.
a cervical tear. Whatever.
Yeah. At one point early, this is fucked up for me to say. At one point early in the book, Violet describes herself as being pear-shaped. So maybe she just has
Yes.
like really wide hips, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean,
she's truly
listen.
built to take this dick.
Maybe she's like one of those people with like a natural thigh gap because
And
like her
extra
hips, that's the
wide.
way her
Yeah,
like
no matter
hips
how
are.
bad big her
Yeah.
thighs are, there's still always just going to be a gap. I think it's got to be that. I think she's just built for
Listen,
it.
there's no way.
It's written in the stars, Capricorn.
that mythical creatures exist in this world and have existed presumably like the whole time. That like there isn't just like that like humans haven't evolved like a little bit. You know what I mean? To like, to take that dick.
Yeah, certainly, certainly, certainly.
Yeah. Okay, so my second question, speaking of like humans evolving, does human birth control work on Minotaur come?
That was what I was thinking as you
I
raised
was
that
thinking she was
question.
gonna get pregnant. I was like, is she gonna get pregnant this whole time? And she's like has multiple thoughts where she's like, what would my like interspecies children look like?
I
And
know.
I
I
was like,
bet they'd be
how are you
super
giving birth
cute.
to that? I was like, is that like a C-section requirement? Like, can you push that out?
I don't think she would. I think she would die in childbirth.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If she has super wide hips.
I guess like doctor, like she would have to go to a, a minotaur doctor
Yeah.
or get like two doctors to collaborate. Like truly, what is the medical
How does
situation
this work?
if if she's thinking about the discriminations of like human women
Because
in medical
because
trials?
Rourke's grandma is like half human or something. So like Rourke already
Right.
has some human juice in him. So like
Yeah.
this happened presumably before they had like high tech and like presumably she survived.
Yeah,
So
true.
like
Or
what
maybe
are the
it is just one
mechanics?
of those things where the expectation is that you won't survive
Ugh!
childbirth.
I did read a dragon shifter book
Mm,
once in which the whole program was that the dragon culture, like they were like isolated, like the dragons and the humans like didn't mix, but the dragon species were like dying out because like something had like killed a lot of their women or something.
mm,
So like you could, as a human, you could get paid like $1 million to go live with the dragons for like a year, fuck them, like have a dragon child, and then like you could like dip and just like get your $1 million. But it
right.
was really dangerous because like you could die in like you could really easily die
Yeah.
in childbirth.
Huh.
So like that is a
That sounds
trope.
interesting.
That is a trope that
Yeah.
occurs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so does human birth control work? Is Violet even on birth control?
I think it would. I don't think she's on birth control. I feel like she would have mentioned that.
But she's like, so it's not like she wants to like lock Rourke down. You know what I mean? Because
No.
she does that
She's
really
like, not for 10
annoying.
years, not for 10 years. I don't want it for at least, she kept saying at least a decade. In a decade.
I was like,
Girl,
okay.
chill.
But
You're
she also keeps
26.
not like at one point she's like, no, Rourke, like we have to split the bill on our dates. And it's just such like she does that the annoying like romance novel heroine thing where she's like, I can't possibly let my
I don't
rich
want to
daddy
pay.
boyfriend pay for me. I can't possibly let my rich daddy boyfriend spend money on me.
When I'm in crippling credit card debt.
Yeah, and student loans. Like she's constantly like talking about all this debt that she's in. I was like, girl, let him spend money on you. Move in with him so you don't have to
Girl,
pay
let him
rent.
pay for your coffee. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Move in with
Come
him.
on. He's daddy. Let him be a
He's
daddy.
daddy. Let him be a daddy. That's his whole thing. He already tips you $100
Yeah. And like
every
a
week when he
new
comes in.
100. So like this man
A
is going
crisp.
to the bank and getting like a new freshly
I
printed
know.
$100 bill.
Yeah. That man must carry lots of cash.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh, yeah. And yeah. I also another unanswered question of mine was how was that restaurant they went to at 1 a.m.?
Oh
Because they had to
yeah,
like
they kept
because
talking
that was
about
their
it.
first time. I believe that was their first time having sex. Did they just not
Yes. Well,
go?
having P and B, because
Having
he'd already
penetrative
eaten her out
sex.
multiple
Yeah, yeah,
times.
yeah.
And she'd
Yeah.
obviously given him plenty of
Right.
hand jobs.
Yeah, which is like that's how they met. How I met your mother. So they just
How was
eat
the
dessert,
restaurant?
fuck, penetrative fuck, no restaurant. I really want to know what that
I
restaurant's
want to
about.
know what it's like.
I
Yeah.
know. I love a tasting menu.
He was like, you're gonna pack a bag, you're gonna come over to my house for the weekend so we
Yeah.
can fuck. Because he's like, your
Yeah.
apartment's too small for me.
Yeah. He was like,
Fair
I
enough.
couldn't even stand up and turn around.
He's like,
Like,
I'll fuck up
that's
your
crazy.
sheets. I don't want to do that. You're already
Yeah,
poor.
my hooves would
Um,
tear up your sheets. So they have to already get different material woven from gold.
I guess. Well, his waterproof sheets, obviously.
Yeah, it's so funny.
But when he does it, he's like, pack a bag, and he's like, I can't ensure that you're gonna walk properly on
Oh
Monday.
yeah.
So like, if that's his promise, like, can she even get to the restaurant?
I
Does he
know,
have to
right?
carry her?
I don't think I'd be able
She would be
to.
sore. She's
No.
sore. Even just the first time.
Yeah,
Cause she's like,
that's
she is
insane.
like she comes and she is like aroused. Like he, like, like he. Oh yeah, his rule is like
Finish it.
he's like, you're gonna come on my tongue before we do anything every single time. And I was like,
Yeah,
daddy. But also a lot of pressure. I feel like for me, I'd be
that's
like, well,
true.
what if I just want to get dicked down? But you're like, no, you gotta come this way.
Well, also, if I come too many times before penetrative sex, I like close up.
Yeah, you get too
Like
sensitive.
if I come, then I won't be able to take a large thing. So why
Yeah.
would you want
He wants
to,
to like loosen her up.
yeah, like you should be loosening her up and she's gonna come anyway. So I don't know. Maybe she's still built different.
That would be a lot of pressure for me personally if I like had to come first in like this way before we could like do anything else. I'd be like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like that would make me not come because I would just be so
Yeah.
anxious. I would get in my
Yeah.
head.
Oh, I don't know. I think she already spent a lot of time in her head.
She did.
I think she
And
was
like deep
really
stalking
ready.
him on the internet.
Yeah. You could find a lot. I think she would have been able, I think I would have been able to find out who this man is just from his chart information.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a sleuth.
She's no sleuth. She's a art history person who's like specializes in like Victorian architecture, which is just so specific.
That's so specific. And then she moved to a city.
Yeah, but then she moves here. She interviews at the end. She's like getting a job in her field, which like I spent this whole book being like, what the fuck would a job in her field be? Like I can't imagine that. But like this is she's like a restorer. She like gets a job at like as a
Oh, okay.
restorer with this place called the Slade Foundation because like the Slades are like one of like the it families of the town. But the
Mm.
audiobook, me listening to it at 2 times speed because like that's like my minimum,
Mm-hmm.
it sounded so much like the Slave
Slave.
Foundation every time. And I was like, I know it's not that because I did slow it down the first time they said this name to like make sure it wasn't the Slave Foundation. But every time I was
Yeah.
like, I can't. I can't. I can't be happy for her.
I can't be happy for her. It sounds too much like slave. And
Mm-mm.
it's in houses, so it's like, there's no avoiding it. Like
Right. Like it's
something
that
happened here.
era.
Something happened between these walls.
Well, I don't know. Does the mythological community have slavery in the same way that humans did? How did that work?
Well, because they mentioned that with the ring stuff, is that it implied human ownership, but they had reclaimed the
Yeah.
tradition
Was that like for minotaurs or was that just for like
for
bulls?
bulls. I don't know.
You know what I mean? So like what's the delineation between minotaurs and bulls? Because I feel like the like cow industry, like the dairy industry, like all that like definitely still exists. Like people are still eating hamburgers, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like where do we draw the line?
Right. I guess it just has more like of a BoJack Horseman approach where it's like don't question it.
Don't think about it. Don't
Just let it happen. Like the dog dates the girl dates the horse. They all
And you
date each
know
other.
what? And Mothman's in the next book.
And Mothman, I'm probably gonna read that. I'll listen to that. I'm way more tantalized by the idea of a Mothman than I am a bull.
I'm excited because like the antenna stuff.
I bet that's
I
crazy.
feel like here's the thing. So this was very interesting to me. And I think this was because it was a little bit front of mind because I was thinking about how I had to like fight for my life about this book like at the beach because the argument listener at the beach was like I was trying to explain to people why this is not bestiality. And the
Right.
thing is like it didn't feel like bestiality here, but like it drew much closer, like the Minotaur, the fact that he's like half cow, half man, drew a lot closer to that line for me than it did for like other books, other monster
Mm-hmm.
books that I've read that have been like I've read like spider human romance, like monster romance.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's like arguably way more, like way less human.
Yeah.
So, but like that was like I was like totally fine with that. I was there was like not even a not a thought in my mind about
Yeah. Right. Because I feel like I think also it's just we have a larger understanding of and uh references to pull from when it's a mammal or a bull
yeah,
or a
that's
Mr.
true.
Tumnus type thing.
Well, okay. I would get dicked down by Mr. Tumnus.
I
Like
know. He's
immediately,
a cutie.
absolutely.
He's a
Yeah.
cutie.
Especially because she kept being like, his ears are so soft. His ears are so
Like
like soft, like a
I have
cow.
their
I was
velvety
like, I
smooth.
was like, oh.
I was like, no, because that's what my dog has, velvety ears. So
Hmm.
don't.
My childhood dog, my pug. I used to like worry that people were gonna like chop off her ears to like make a coat because they were so soft.
But then I'm imagining like human body and then like wings and like
But like
fur, like
giant
thick
red eyes, you
tines,
know?
and then also and like a thorax.
Yes. Yeah, wait,
Hmm.
okay. I just feel like there's a lot of potential in the Mothman romance. I'll report back. I already have it downloaded
What's
from
it
the
called?
library. Sweet berries, which I'm not really sure, other than the fact that that little teaser at the end of Morning Glory Milking Farm implies that the girl, the main character, like makes like pies. Okay, so this Mothman in the on the cover has like a six pack.
Oh yeah.
He's a lot
Okay.
more humanoid than I was imagining. I'm gonna be honest. I was imagining like way more of like a giant moth.
And a full moth face.
Yeah, I was imagining like a little pincers, you know?
Yeah. Because there's this comic book that was turned into an Amazon original called The Tick, and there was a
Uh-huh.
moth creature, but it was
Oh.
really just a suit.
Oh.
And it had moth
Cowards.
eyes and moth powers. But
Modern media
two
is
seasons
just
on
too
Amazon.
cowardly to
I
to
agree.
give us monster fucking the way we deserve.
Absolutely. I think we'll get there.
All right. Did you have any other comments about the book?
Let's see. Let me check my notes. I would have loved more conflict. I would have
Mm-hmm.
loved them to have broken up for a little bit of a point. I
With
would have
third act
liked
breakup. Yeah.
a mother drama. I would have liked her to lose her job in shame. At least one of her coworkers finding out and like having at least a
Yeah.
discussion about it, or
Uh-huh.
the hypothetical of what would happen, you know? Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it has happened before. I would have liked just a little more drama. I thought it was a sweet story, but
Yes.
I thought there could be more of a conflict.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that was just because it was a novella and there's just like she didn't, for whatever reason, want to write the full novel
Yeah,
that would have like had time for all of that.
yeah.
But it was cute. It was heartwarming.
And how does it get compared to other monster fucking books that you've encountered?
It was on the sweet side. It's interesting because monster fucking books, I feel like I mean, I haven't read too many of them. Like they definitely aren't my main subgenre, but like they're
Mm-hmm.
either like I just aren't I don't know. I just feel like they're normally like they're like this, where like they're just like a really cute, healthy relationship with like really fucking horny beings, and like one of them or both of them is a monster. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
like we did um this book called Unhinged last fall about a woman who falls in love and fucks her front door.
Whoa.
Um,
That's
I actually
so funny.
I highly recommend it.
That's
I don't he turns
genius.
in he is a human for at least part of the book. But
And
when they
turns
first
into a
fuck, he's a
door.
door. He's her front door. I
Whoa.
highly recommend it. It's a novella too. It's very cute.
Oh,
But it was like this too, where it was like this completely insane concept, but just like very like sweet. Cause I feel like in order to write these types of books, like you have to like you got to really like know what you're doing, you know? Like you can't just like half-ass it the way you could like
you
a
can't.
regular like contemporary romance. Like you got to be able
Yeah.
to like make people
You have to
be
make
on
people
board with
buy
it.
into it. They have to
Yeah.
buy into the lust and the
Mm-hmm.
fantasy and the desire, the carnal
Yeah.
desire, because it's just not going to work if you don't buy that someone is falling in love with the door, which is fucking
Yeah, they're
hilarious. That's
Minotaur.
just
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And a minotaur is like totally, it doesn't take, it's not a huge leap.
I mean, a Minotaur, I feel like that's old hat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Minotaur
yeah,
fucking has been around. We've had
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, but a door is something new. Or like
Adores.
an Ella Enchanted, where Minnie Driver's husband is a book.
Yes. He does get turned into an elf by the end.
Yeah,
But
he's
it
back
does make you
into,
wonder whether they like fucked while he was a book.
yeah, yeah. That seems sapphic. I think once you turn into a book, you're in a lesbian relationship because
I
you
mean,
have
he
like
was a little
folds.
twinky. Like he
Yeah,
was a little twink.
absolutely. Yeah,
So,
he had
you know,
some fruit of the loom.
about him.
Yeah.
All right, shall we discuss the cat scale for this book?
Yes, yes. There's like 1,000% cat presence.
Yeah, despite the fact that there's like
So
no
does that make it
cats.
10? Well, you go. Because the fox was kind of close to it.
The fox lady was very present despite actually like never being like she's only in the training videos, but she's constantly being
Yeah,
referenced.
she is.
What's her
She's constantly
story?
being referenced, and I love that when I know it was very it's very like I was getting like a sorry to bother you vibe, but then it wasn't like
Mm,
dystopian at all or,
mm.
demented. It was just, like this is how you perform your job properly. And I do it really well because I know how to jack off the best in this town.
And you know what? Good for her.
So I want to hear you. I want to hear you go first before I
Okay.
lock mine in.
Yeah. Okay, so there are no like cat shifter. The presumably like I do assume that there are werecats at some point. I feel
Hmm.
like actually there was a mention of like a werecat. I could be wrong. There was some were mentioned that wasn't a wolf.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Violet, I didn't really get animal vibes from her. Rourke is a daddy, and I feel like daddies always have cat energy. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like daddies are never dogs. Sorry to the dog community.
Sorry to the dog
To
community.
the dog community. I feel like cows and cats are more likely to be friends because they both like milk.
And Vampire Friend was also giving
Yes,
cat.
she is
She
very
was the
cat.
cat. She was
Vampires
the
are
cattiest
cats.
one.
Vampires are cat. Yeah, at one point she gives Violet a fuck me dress that she's basically like, you can't wear any underwear or a bra
Yeah,
so
you
that he
can't wear a
can
bra.
reach across the table and like pluck your nipple. I was like, Galis,
Oh my god,
like
yeah.
girl.
And then he did, and then he fingered her under the table.
And Galis was
So,
right. Like Galis knows what's up. She may have only been from the 80s, but like she's
but
already
she's
got
been
it.
around the block,
Yeah, she's got it
and
on
she works
lock.
in an adjacent field,
Right.
so she
Yeah.
knows the type of clientele.
Exactly. Exactly. Wait, I've just realized. Wait. No, it's not. Sorry. There wasn't. There's a vampire book later in the series, and I was wondering whether it's Galis, but it's not.
I know. I was. That's what I
It's not.
I
It's a different
briefly just
one.
read the description. It's a different one, but
It's a
I
different
love
one.
Gayless, so
Which
I want.
honestly, I'm kind of glad that it's not Gaelic because I don't think I could handle an audiobook done entirely in that voice.
in that Cockney accent.
In
I
that
know.
American narrator doing a Cockney accent.
It was also funny how it started strong and then got weaker each time we revisited her. It just got more silly. And
And on it's like it got to
she
the
was
point where it was like Dick
losing.
Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. Like it
It
really
really was.
it got down there.
It
But yeah,
got
Galas was
way
very
down.
cat-like.
And I just think I think the overall energy of the book was like a 10 cat.
Oh, okay. A 10.
I don't know.
You're going all the
No, not
way.
really. An 8.
It felt very cozy, like a cat in the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. When a cat like sees something and it's just like running around, even though it's all just in its imagination.
Hmm. Okay, I could go for an 8.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not confident in that. I feel like I'm gonna have the exact right thing to say in like 2 hours and I'll send you a voice memo.
Okay.
I mean, I enjoyed this book. I thought it was
I
fun.
did.
I'm
It was very
interested
fun.
in seeing the other, what's the town called?
Cambric Creek.
She's got a good thing going. And
Yeah.
people like the books. They've got a lot of
Yeah.
ratings. They've
This
got a
went
lot of
this went
lawyers.
viral like last year. That's when it came across my radar
Wow.
for the first time.
Yeah,
It
a
went viral.
3.8 on Goodreads is not too shabby.
Is good. And you know what? It's trustworthy. I
It
feel like
is.
on Goodreads, if you're like too high, then I'm like, you know, I'm like, I don't know whether I can trust this.
Yeah. And her author picture is a moth. So
Is
I think she
oh
has a
yeah.
favorite. I think she's got a favorite.
So she really like her heart, and so she lured everyone in with like the Minotaur book.
Oh, okay.
And
This
now
is
she's
funny.
really gonna blow us away with the Mothman.
She's always preferred beasts to boys, the macabre to the melequitoast. Is that how you say that? The unknown darkness
I
in the shadows to the Chad next door. So funny.
honestly I can relate. I can relate. I don't actually know how to pronounce the toast word. In my head, I've always just pronounced it milk toast because I've only ever seen it written down.
I
Like
know.
I don't think milk toast is the correct way to
It
pronounce
can't
it.
be. It can't
But
be. I mean, a real word with the toast already in it is
it's just
ridiculous.
silly. It seems like it probably has some nonsense French pronunciation that I'm gonna ignore.
Here's my final question for you. Do
Okay.
you think that these could ever be translated into film? Do you think these would ever make it to the big screen or the small
Not
screen?
not as not at our current technological abilities.
No.
I think that it would just require really fucking good, like Narnia level prosthesis or prosthetics. Is
Or
prosthesis the
dare I say, this is where AI comes
this
into.
is
I think like the only way to accomplish this would to
no, because AI actually struggles a lot with mythology. I saw this like video on TikTok, this girl being like, here's me like trying to get AI to like make a centaur for me. And AI was just does not know what a centaur is. Like it kept being
yeah.
like giving her like a horse that had like slightly like Chad like features in the face. And
Wow.
like it was like all these like it would could not understand what a
That's
centaur
really funny.
was. And I
That's
just feel like Centaur is
really
like the
funny.
easiest. Centaur is like one of the easiest
It's
ones
pretty simple.
to
It's not,
make. Like I feel like I
yeah,
could edit like a reasonable Centaur right now.
yeah, yeah. That would take minor Photoshop. Dare like you could do that on Snapchat editing.
Yeah.
Do that in
Yeah.
CapCut easily.
Pull out a Canva. Pull out your Canva account and do that.
A lot of Canva. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
Canva. Use your listeners, use your professional Canva accounts
To make
to
this
make
and then send
your dream
us.
sender and
Can you
send them to
please send
us.
them to us? Thank you. At you
Yes.
can send it we read it one night at gmail.com. And you can
Yes.
also connect with us on social media at We Read It One Night on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and at We Read It Podcast on Twitter. And again, email us with your listener suggestions if you have any more like fucked up books like this. Fun little quirky reads. Send them on our way. And as always, leave a rating and review wherever you're listening if you haven't done it already, which if you haven't, I don't know why that is. But now's your chance to make up for it. Now.
I love when you turn into the true podcaster.
Just
I
the
love
little
that
end.
little voice. Yeah, you're a pro. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you. Wait, all right, we got to do the sign off already. Godspeed, comrades.
Godspeed.